Students don't always do well on this assignment, so I thought I would do a little voiceover to help you, to walk you through it, to help you understand it better. So your assignment is to create a 1-week menu for preschoolers. Your menu must include breakfast, lunch, and a snack Monday through Friday. The menu has to meet the USDA guidelines and be appealing to children. Then you're going to look at that menu and make at least 5 substitutions for something that would make it more appropriate for toddlers. So for toddlers, you can, think about choking hazards. If you have apples or carrot sticks or celery sticks, that would not be appropriate for toddlers. Even hard tacos are hard for toddlers to eat. But also things like soup. It's really difficult for toddlers to eat soup. So that's a substitution that you would want to make. And remember that toddlers need to have whole milk. So the USDA standards are here. Click on that to open it up. It gives you a lot of information about food service. But if you scroll down to the standard charts, click on children, and it tells you exactly what has to be included for breakfast, lunch, and a snack. So breakfast is first. Breakfast must include all 3 of these components. Milk is one of the components, a fruit or vegetable, and a grain. So milk, for toddlers, remember, children that are under the age of 2 should have whole milk. Children that are over 2 should have 1% or skim milk. It says in the notes here that the milk has to be unflavored. That means no chocolate milk, no strawberry milk. Let's see, so 6 ounces of milk for 3 to 5-year-olds. Fruits and vegetables. Fruits are vegetables. Typically we typically serve fruit at breakfast. So a half a cup of fruit would be a half a banana, maybe some strawberries, and then a grain. So in some places they serve cereal and milk for breakfast, but that's really a morning snack. It's not considered breakfast because it only contains 2 components, not 3 components. Of course, we're not serving any dessert type sugary foods for breakfast. So sweet rolls would not be considered a breakfast component. And breakfast cereals have to have less than 6 grams of sugar in them. Meat and meat alternatives may be used to meet the grain requirement, a maximum of 3 times a week. So if you had sausages and fruit, that could be a part of, with milk, that would be the 3 components for breakfast. So meat or meat alternatives may be used to meet the grain requirement, a maximum of 3 times per week. If we go down to lunch and supper, now you're only doing lunch because you're doing breakfast, lunch, and a snack. For lunch, for 3 to 5-year-olds, again, we're going to have milk. It has to be plain milk. It can't be chocolate milk. Lunch has to include all 5 components. So milk is a component, a meat or meat substitute is a component, a vegetable is a component, a fruit is a component, and grain is a component. You have to include all of that in your lunch. The old regulations had vegetables and fruits together. It had to be 2, but it didn't matter, but now they've separated it. So you do have to include a fruit and a vegetable. Typically, the grain on the breading on the outside of a chicken nugget is not enough to be a serving size of grain, so that would not count as your serving of grain. You would have to include bread or pasta or something else to be the grain portion of your lunch. So just make sure you have all 5 components in your lunch menu. And let's look at the footnotes real quick. No unflavored milk, again, until they're 2. Children have whole milk, and then they have 1% or skim milk. The yogurt can't contain more than 23 grams of sugar per 6 ounces. Pasteurized full-strength juice may be used to meet the fruit or vegetable requirement at 1 meal a day And remember from our other video, we only want children to have like 4 ounces of juice a day, so it's really not a good idea. What else is on here? Grains have to be enriched grains. That means that they've put vitamins, iron, other minerals back into the grains. So let's look at snack. For snack, the children have to have 2 of these 5 components. So they're giving you 5 different components here. You just have to pick 2. Milk is a component, meat or meat alternatives is a component, vegetables, fruits, and grains. Water does not count as a component, but many times the cook puts snack together, the afternoon snack together, and then she leaves for the day. So you may not want to serve milk because there's nobody there to get the milk out of the refrigerator. But it is a good idea to give them something to drink, and water meets that need. So if we're not going to serve milk, then we need to have 2 other components, cheese and crackers. Cheese would be a meat alternative, crackers would be your grain. That would be 2 alternatives. The children can have milk with that, have water with that, and it's good. If you are serving milk, then you only have to include 1 other component. So crackers and milk would be a good snack. If it's a dip or a spread, you have to show that you are meeting the serving size. So if you're having peanut butter and crackers or hummus and celery sticks, you would have to prove that the children are getting a 1/2 ounce of that peanut butter or a 1/2 ounce of that hummus. And chances are they're not getting that if it's only a dip or a spread. If it's salsa and chips, your chips would be your grain, but they're probably not getting a 1/2 ounce of salsa to make that the vegetable. So those are some things to consider as well. Look at the footnotes on this one too. It gives you extra information about what is allowed and what is not allowed. Like here it says only 1 of the 2 components may be a beverage. You don't want to serve the children milk and juice. That would be 2 components, but that's not appropriate for snack. Again, yogurt has to have less than 23 grams of sugar. And it talks about the juice, vegetable juice or fruit juice being 100%, that children can only have juice at 1 meal, including snack per day, but you don't have to serve juice at all. It's really better not to, based on the other video that you saw. Okay, so I think that will help everyone understand this a little bit better and exactly what you're looking for your meals and snacks.